Warning. The following video discusses sensitive true crime cases, so it includes graphic details and topics like murder, sexual assault, child abuse, animal cruelty, detailed descriptions, crime scene photos, and/or audio. Some viewers may find this content disturbing. Please use at your own risk. Viewer discretion advised. The purpose of this video is for documentary and educational purposes only.
Hello, and welcome back to Phantom's Notes, your channel dedicated to analyzing the most shocking true crime cases from history. Last time, we decoded Ted Bundy, the master manipulator who charmed entire courtrooms before his lies finally consumed him completely. Today we'll talk about the Long Island serial killer, America's most elusive predator who spent 2 decades hiding in plain sight as a respected architect living just blocks from where he dumped 11 bodies along Ocean Parkway. This is the complete story of how cutting-edge science finally caught him after 20 years of terror across Long Island's desolate beaches. Before we start, and if you still haven't, hit that subscribe button now to join the club. Every major case, fully decoded, and one click away. True Crime and Chill. Chapter 1. The First Victims. Let's travel back to November 6, 1993. Gilgo Beach, Long Island, a quiet stretch of Barrier Island where summer crowds long vanished and Atlantic winds whip across empty dunes. Sandra Costilla, 28 years old, works as a waitress at the Driftwood restaurant in North Sea. She's known locally as friendly, hardworking, trying to make ends meet after a messy breakup. That Saturday night, Sandra heads out with friends. Around midnight, witnesses see her leave the Driftwood lounge in her blue Dodge Shadow. Phone records show calls to a pager number that night. Then, silence. 3 weeks later, hunters walking Ocean Parkway's shoulder spot clothing in the brush. Police recover her skeletonized remains 200 yards from the highway. Her skull shows multiple blunt force fractures, consistent with a hammer or tire iron. Ligature marks around wrists. Sexual assault confirmed through bone trauma analysis. Toxicology clean, no drugs in her system. Suffolk County PD's theory? Drug deal gone wrong. No suspects. No witnesses. Case number 93 to 46,762 goes cold. Sandra Costilla becomes a statistic. Fast forward 7 years. August 20th, 2000. Valerie Mack, 23, leaves her Philadelphia apartment wearing a white tank top, jeans, flip-flops. She's a University of Pennsylvania student moonlighting as an escort to pay tuition. That morning, she tells her mother she's meeting a client on Long Island. Valerie's black Ford Contour is found abandoned at the Pennsauken train station. Keys and ignition, purse inside, phone dead. She's never seen alive again. 9 months later, September 19th, 2001, just weeks after 9/11 grips the nation, hikers in Manaville Hills County Park discover a female torso wrapped in plastic bags. No head, no hands, no legs below knees. Blonde pubic hair. Nearby, in a separate clearing, police recover a full-term male fetus. Valerie was 8 months pregnant. DNA confirms mother and child match. Surgical dismemberment noted. Clean transverse cuts at C4 vertebra, wrist joints. Medical examiner calls it professional. Suffolk PD links it to Atlantic City escorts, files as Jane Doe No. 7. No connection drawn to Sandra Costilla's 1993 murder just 15 miles east. July 26, 2003. Jessica Taylor, 20-year-old British dancer, works the truck stops along Route 13 in Delaware. Last sighted at the Pocomoke City Sitco wearing a black crop top, denim skirt, platform heels. She carries $163 cash, a MetroCard, and fake New York ID listing her as Danielle Taylor. July 30th, her torso surfaces off Ocean Parkway near Gilgo Beach, headless, both hands missing, left forearms severed at elbow. Found wrapped in green plastic trash bags. July 31st, second sight yields skull fragment, right arm, hand jewelry matching her angel finger ring. Identified March 2008 through dental records from UK Missing Persons Database. COD, homicidal violence, sharp force injuries to neck. Sexual assault confirmed. Suffolk PD notes surgical skill level but classifies as transient prostitute death. Case 03-29176. 3 women over 10 years, all within 15 miles, all mutilated the same way. And police see nothing? That's when you start wondering what else they missed. These 3 women were decapitated or bludgeoned. Hands removed or crushed. Professional dismemberment. 10-year span, 15-mile radius. And still, 0 connections made. The system sleeps while a predator perfects his craft. Chapter 2. Craigslist becomes a death trap. Everything changes on July 9, 2007. Maureen Brainerd Barnes, just 25 years old, leaves her 2-year-old daughter with grandparents in Norwich, Connecticut. She's a single mom working dead-end jobs, desperate for cash. That night, she drives her white Acura to Patchogue, Long Island, and checks into Motel 6 room 141. Doing what she can to try give her kid a better life. At 9:32 p.m., Maureen posts her first Craigslist ad in the erotic services section. 5 feet 2 inches petite, European style, no bareback, out calls and in calls, $200 hour. Her T-Mobile phone pings the Patchogue Tower at 11:23 p.m. Maureen's mother Lorraine speaks to her at 2:30 a.m. "Ma, I'm with a high-dollar client. Don't worry." That's the last voice her family ever hears from her. No activity on Maureen's AT&T prepaid phone after July 10th. Her white Acura vanishes. Exactly 2 years later, July 10th, 2009, the pattern repeats with terrifying precision. Melissa Lynn Barthélemy, 24, from Buffalo, New York, flies to the Bronx for escort work. Melissa is ambitious, posting polished Craigslist ads with professional photos. July 11th, Melissa texts her sister Amanda, 15-minute client in Parkchester. At 11 p.m., witnesses see her enter a Bronx apartment building wearing black heels, denim skirt, juicy couture top. Her Verizon phone goes dead. July 12th, 11:19 p.m. Amanda's phone rings from a blocked 646 number. A calm male voice says, "I had to f*** her to death." Distinctive laugh. July 13th. "I mentioned I was going to kill her. Guess what? I did." Over the next month, Amanda receives 24 blocked calls total. The killer breathes heavily. Plays Melissa's voicemail in the background. Mocks Amanda's grief. "Your sister's not coming home." Final call August 7th. "I'm gonna kill you too." Amanda begs 911 dispatchers to trace the calls. No action taken. June 6, 2010. Megan Elizabeth Waterman, 22, from Portland, Maine. Engaged to be married, Megan supplements her waitressing income with occasional escort work. That afternoon, she posts a Craigslist ad from Holiday Inn Express Hauppauge. 4:45 p.m., texts her mother Lori, 10-minute client nearby. Be home soon. Megan's Verizon phone pings Gilgo Beach Manor Tower, then goes offline. Her black Saturn Vue remains parked at the Holiday Inn. September 2nd, 2010, 9:35 p.m. Amber Lynn Costello, 27, from Riverhead, Long Island, the closest victim geographically. Amber lives with her brother in a North Sea duplex. That evening, she posts, $1,500 hour, dark Chevy SUV arriving. 9:40 p.m., Amber texts her brother Dave. He's here. High-dollar client. Dave hears her walk outside. At 11:15 p.m., he calls 911. My sister left with a client and isn't answering her phone. Amber's T-Mobile never pings again. The signature screams professional predator. All 4 women post Craigslist ads within 48 hours of disappearance. Same 646-burner phone responds to each. Phone travel pattern shows systematic loops, motel clusters to expressway to Massapequa Park residential area and back. Chevy Avalanche silhouette reported by Amber's brother. Families form Lost Girls Coalition, plastering flyers across Long Island. Suffolk County PD chases Craigslist hoaxers, raids wrong addresses, interviews 300-plus leads. The real monster watches safely from his $750,000 family home, 10 miles from every crime scene. Chapter 3, December 2010, The Body Farm Unveiled. On Monday, December 13, 2010 at precisely 2:30 p.m., a routine cleanup crew walks the fire roads running parallel to Ocean Parkway, that isolated barrier island stretch between Gilgo Beach and Oak Beach, where Atlantic winds carve salt from the air and phragmites marshes swallow both sound and secrets. NYPD Detective John Malia, technically off-duty but helping with a community service detail, unleashes his certified cadaver dog Blue for what should have been a standard perimeter patrol. Blue completely ignores the designated path and bolts 20 yards east into the shoulder-high Phragmites Marsh, his handlers sinking ankle-deep in black mud as he follows. 75 feet from the asphalt, Blue sits rigid, hackles raised, staring intently at a patch of matted grass where something doesn't belong. Detective Malia parts the reeds and spots an orange plastic bag protruding unnaturally from the earth. Inside waits Amber Lynn Costello, nude, hogtied with orange duct tape binding her knees so tightly against her chest that her spine forms an unnatural arc, stuffed inside a double-wrapped burlap sack cinched shut with household electrical cords. Petechiae have burst across her face and eyelids from prolonged manual strangulation, while fixed lividity patterns confirm she spent her final hours face down on a concrete surface before transport to this desolate disposal site. By dawn on December 14th, Suffolk County PD establishes a half-mile grid search radiating from the discovery site, and just 500 yards west, crime scene technicians uncover 3 more burlap sacks buried shallow beneath black plastic sheeting. The first contains Maureen Brainerd Barnes, her petite 5'2" frame confirming identity through dental records, with deep ligature furrows circling her neck and burlap weave patterns identical to Amber's sack. The second sack holds Melissa Lynn Barthélemy, belt impressions permanently pressed into her skin from prolonged restraint, synthetic rope bindings preserving trace hair in the knots. The third sack reveals Megan Elizabeth Waterman, her hogtie position mirroring Amber's exactly, orange duct tape sealing her mouth, and rootless Caucasian hair fibers clinging to her clothing. The Gilgo Four stand confirmed within 48 harrowing hours, but the marsh refuses to yield its secrets easily. That same afternoon, searchers uncover Fire Island Jane Doe, a child's skeleton carefully wrapped in white cloth nearby. Asian Doe, an adult male bearing possible Japanese tattoo work, and Baby Doe, a toddler's remains found alongside Jane Doe, suggesting familial connection. Word leaks to the press by evening. A media frenzy unlike anything Long Island has seen erupts overnight. Governor David Paterson orders state police helicopters with thermal imaging. The FBI rolls in a mobile command center to the Gilgo Beach firehouse. Suffolk County Police Commissioner reveal a task force promising the largest manhunt in department history, while families of the missing plaster Craigslist personals with Amber Alert flyers begging witnesses to come forward. The public pressure forces an expanded grid search. On March 29, 2011, a farmhand working Manaville Fields discovers Jessica Taylor's missing forearm, the distinctive butterfly tattoo securing her 2003 Delaware truck stop identity. The next day, March 30th, searchers find her head and hands 6 miles distant, the surgical transverse cuts at her C4 vertebra confirming professional dismemberment skill. April 4th brings closure to Valerie Mack when her torso surfaces from Mandeville Hills. Blonde pubic hair and nearby fetal remains confirming her 8-month pregnancy. 11 victims now cataloged, spanning 1993 to 2010 across a single perpetrator's 17-year reign. Forensic analysis drops simultaneous bombshells that should have cracked the case wide open. Identical burlap weave patterns trace back to a single manufacturing bolt. Orange LePage duct tape matches across all Gilgo Four victims from the same roll. Synthetic rope composition points to hardware store bulk purchases. Most crucially, rootless hair DNA yields an unidentified white male profile, mitochondrial haplogroup H1 circulating through the command center within weeks. Cell tower analysis, ordered 6 months after the body's surface, finally reveals the smoking gun. One Chevy Avalanche bearing Nassau County plates pings every abduction site from Holiday and Hauppauge to Motel 6 Patchogue to Gilgo Manor pickup zones. The phone's disposal loops trace an identical pattern, Massapequa Park residential area to Ocean Parkway dumping ground and back home again. Burner phone forensics confirm the 646 area code prepaid purchased at Target East Meadow in June 2009 remains active through September 2010, with every Craigslist reply timestamp matching victim disappearances within 90 minutes. Suffolk PD Task Force forms officially in March 2011, conducting 1,300 interviews and chasing 10,000 leads, but the Chevy Avalanche database, containing 203 possible vehicles, sits uncanvassed. Lost girls' family members picket outside precincts wearing their daughters' faces around their necks, spray painting, "Where is justice?" across abandoned Montauk Highway billboards while helicopters buzz uselessly overhead. 10 miles west in Massapequa Park, Rex Heurrmann drives his family's Chevy Suburban past those same search teams every single day, watching the helicopters circle his personal dumping ground. Reading his own press clippings over morning coffee, quietly refining burlap sack knot patterns for next summer's hunting season. Chapter 4. FBI's Psychological Profile, the Organized Predator. By March 2011, with 11 bodies cataloged and burlap weave signatures confirmed across multiple crime scenes, Suffolk County PD finally swallows their pride and requests assistance from the FBI Behavioral Analysis Unit. A team of agents flies up from Quantico, setting up in a windowless command center in Hauppauge where they spend weeks poring over autopsy photos, cell tower dumps, witness statements, and crime scene diagrams, cross-referencing everything against their massive VICAP database containing over 1,200 serial homicide cases. On April 12th, they deliver a 47-page psychological profile that's chilling in its precision, a blueprint of the monster they're hunting. This isn't some disorganized killer driven by blind rage or impulse. What they're facing is a textbook organized offender, someone who meticulously plans every aspect of his crimes from victim selection through disposal, controlling the crime scene with surgical precision, and leaving nothing to chance. Consider his hunting methodology. He doesn't evolve from streetwalker pickups to the internet. He starts with Craigslist because it offers total anonymity and control. He rotates burner phones every single month, buying them at Target cash registers where CCTV coverage is weak, paying cash, and activating SIM cards only when he's ready to hunt. His Craigslist replies show sophisticated Boolean search mastery. He knows exactly how to parse the erotic services section to find his preferred victim type without wasting time. Geography tells an even clearer story. This unsub lives and works within a tight comfort zone, what profilers call geographic anchoring. Every abduction site falls within a 10-mile radius of what will later be identified as Massapequa Park, the Patchogue Motel 6, Hauppauge Holiday Inn Express, Riverhead Duplex, where Amber Costello lived. His Ocean Parkway disposal route sits just 6 miles from this residential anchor point, and cell tower pings consistently show his phone traveling home to Massapequa after every confirmed kill. His sexual violence pattern screams power-assertive sadist, not quick strangulations for sexual release, but prolonged torture evidenced by the deep ligature furrows around victims' necks. The petechiae burst patterns in their eyes from extended manual pressure, and the belt impressions pressed into flesh suggesting hours of calculated restraint before death. The post-mortem dismemberment evolves dramatically. He's clumsy with Sandra Costilla's bludgeon skull back in 1993, but achieves surgical precision by Jessica Taylor in 2003. Cleanly separating her head at the C4 vertebra and wrist joints with practiced confidence. He's mission-oriented with ritualistic fixation, specifically targeting sex workers because society considers them disposable, women whose disappearances barely register. The burlap sack trademark serves dual purpose: practical corpse concealment during transport, but also deeply personal signature, marking his territory. Maintaining identical orange duct tape brands across 7 years shows obsessive supply chain ritual, like an artist who always uses the same canvas type. Then there's the anomalous family man facade that's critical to his survival. By day, he's a professional. Profilers specifically call out engineering or architecture fields requiring spatial planning, detail obsession, and deadline discipline. Crucially, he establishes summer hunting windows that perfectly coincide with family vacations abroad. The Gilgo Four timeline maps exactly to school summer break, when wife and children leave him blissfully alone in the family home. His computer sophistication goes beyond the average predator. He's not just using Craigslist, he's mastered it. The burner phone discipline evades even basic law enforcement traps. Those taunting phone calls to Melissa Barthelomew's sister Amanda? Calculated risk-taking that suggests either vocal confidence or familial insulation. He knows police won't trace blocked 646 numbers coming from different boroughs each time. Physically, they peg him at 5 feet 10 inches to 6 feet 2 inches based on hogtie mechanics and avalanche door height requirements. Somewhere between 250 to 300 pounds judging by tire impressions in sand and burlap sack weight capacities. Manual labor capable for wheelbarrow transport across dunes. Right-handed from asymmetrical strangulation bruising patterns on all victims. Their investigative recommendations read like prophecy. Cross-reference Nassau County Chevy Avalanche registrations against architect and engineering licenses issued in Suffolk, Nassau. Target summer Europe travel patterns through family passport records. Run Google Voice forensics on Craigslist IP clusters near Massapequa Park. Initiate VICAP familial DNA searches on the rootless hair mitochondrial profile. Suffolk PD receives the report with nods of appreciation. They log it carefully, then file it away and move on to the next press conference. Their 1,300 interviews yield exactly nothing. The Chevy Avalanche database containing 203 possible vehicles goes uncanvassed. Lost girls' family members picket outside precincts wearing Amber Alert flyers around their necks, spray painting, where's justice, across abandoned billboards along Montauk Highway. Meanwhile, just 10 miles west in Massapequa Park, Rex Heurrmann drives his family Chevy Suburban past the Ocean Parkway search teams every single day, watching helicopters circle his personal dumping ground. Reading his own press clippings in the New York Post, and quietly refining his burlap sack knot patterns for the next summer hunting season. Chapter 5. The Pizza Crust Breakthrough. For nearly 13 years, the Gilgo Beach case haunts Suffolk County like a ghost that refuses burial. The task force dissolves. Leads evaporate. Families bury their rage alongside their daughters. But in late 2022, a different kind of hunter enters the story, a team from the New York State Police Cold Case Unit augmented by Othram Laboratories, pioneers in genetic genealogy, who cracked the Golden State Killer using public ancestry databases. January 9, 2023. Investigators established surveillance outside Manhattan's Serendipity 3 restaurant on East 60th Street, a celebrity hotspot known for frozen hot chocolate. At 1:15 p.m., they observe Rex Heurrmann, 59-year-old architect, dining with his 15-year-old daughter Victoria. As they exit, Victoria discards her paper plate containing a partially eaten pizza crust into the outdoor trash receptacle. Officers retrieve it within seconds, sealing it in sterile evidence packaging. Back at the lab, that single pizza crust yields nuclear and mitochondrial DNA. The mitochondrial profile produces a familial hit-matching trace hair recovered from Megan Waterman's burlap sack, a genetic signature too close to ignore. Rex Heurrmann didn't just live near the crimes. His own daughter carried his DNA signature yards from his office. Simultaneously, investigators surveil Heurrmann's wife, Asa Ellerup, at a Massapequa Park nail salon. Hair clippings swept from the floor trace through Costco receipts found in Heurrmann's home, purchases matching burlap sack fiber composition, and chemical solvent brands used in body disposal. Asa Ellerup's mitochondrial DNA clusters with the same H1 haplogroup found across Gilgo Four bindings. These leads trigger the nuclear DNA revolution. Heurrmann applies whole genome sequencing to rootless hairs from all 6 primary victims, hair shafts too degraded for traditional STR profiling. This cutting-edge technology reads 3 billion base pairs across the entire human genome, reconstructing 99.99% positive identification to Rex Heurrmann. Unlike mitochondrial DNA shared by maternal lines, nuclear DNA fingerprints one individual. Vehicle forensics seal the trap. Heurrmann's 1994 Chevy Avalanche, rare configuration matching Amber Costello's brother description, yields tire tread patterns identical to impressions found pressed into Gilgo Beach sand. Belt buckle impressions on Melissa Barthelomew's bindings match a Leatherman multi-tool seized from his work van. Wheel well scrapings contain burlap fibers and orange duct tape residue. July 13, 2023, 8:45 a.m. Rex Heurrmann exits his Midtown architecture office at 1270 Avenue of the Americas, carrying a Starbucks Veni coffee. As he crosses 51st Street, 20 FBI SWAT officers in unmarked sedans execute the arrest. Heurrmann drops his coffee, raises hands slowly. "I wondered when you'd show up," he says calmly. Officers note his crew cut, stocky build, 5 feet 11 inches height, textbook FBI profile match. Massive search warrants hit simultaneously. His Massapequa Park family home yields 300 printed victim photos meticulously organized in Excel spreadsheets by disappearance date. Burner phone packaging from Target East Meadow matches exact purchase timestamps before each Gilgo Four murder. Google search history reveals his descent. Why do young girls like older men? Sterile surgical tubing for restraint, caustic lye burns safe dosage, strangulation without leaving bruises, burlap sack disposal weight limit. Digital forensics uncovers a planning document, spreadsheet tracking victim selection criteria, Craigslist ad response timing, motel proximity calculations, tide charts for Ocean Parkway disposal windows. His architecture firm's 3D modeling software contains deleted files reconstructing Gilgo Beach terrain contours for optimal body placement. New York Supreme Court makes history, first ever approval of whole genome sequencing from degraded hair for criminal trial. Suffolk County DA Ray Tierney announces 6 first-degree murder charges, Gilgo Four plus Jessica Taylor and Valerie Mack. This represents the new frontier of forensic science, Tierney tells reporters. 2 additional indictments expected by 2024. Heurrmann's wife Asa and children Victoria and Christopher retain separate counsel, retaining right to testify. Family Europe summer vacations perfectly alibi the Gilgo Four timeline, when Heurrmann stayed blissfully alone in the family home 10 miles from his dumping ground. The architect who designed Manhattan office towers now faces life without parole in a 9x12 cell, if the pizza crust holds up. Chapter 6: Heurrmann's Factory of Horror. Let's get back to that day, July 14, 2023. Less than 24 hours after arrest, 200 officers execute search warrants across Heurrmann's Massapequa Park family home, Manhattan office, and Amityville storage unit. Over 12 days, investigators uncover evidence that stuns even veteran homicide detectives. The basement workbench reveals partially used rolls of orange LePage duct tape, exact brand pressed into Gilgo Four gag bindings. Burlap sack fragments hide under sawdust, fibers matching Ocean Parkway disposal sites. A heavy-duty contractor wheelbarrow from the garage shows saltwater corrosion from dune transport, scrapings yielding human epithelial cells. Chemical solvents like trichloroethylene and muriatic acid match compounds dissolving burlap and organic matter from victims' disposal bags. Custom restraining devices, nylon cable ties, ratchet straps, steel spreader bars align perfectly with documented hogtie patterns across all 11 victims. Kitchen forensics expose domestic horror. The butcher block glows with microscopic bone fragments under black light. The double sink disposal contains plastic bag fragments matching Ocean Parkway sheeting. The garage freezer holds unidentified meat packages dated to the Gilgo Four summer window, pending DNA analysis. FBI computer forensics crack Heurrmann's encrypted desktop, revealing 127 external hard drives with 200-plus gigabytes of violent pornography specifically featuring bondage, sadomasochism, and torture matching Gilgo crime scene restraints. Victim research folders include detailed handwritten notes on physical measurements and motel proximity. Architecture firm servers contain deleted 3D files mapping Ocean Parkway terrain, tide charts, and optimal body placement angles for Phragmites marsh concealment. Financial records confirm the double life. American Express statements show Home Depot contractor supply runs and Motel 6 extended stays during hunting windows. Architecture firm billing reveals summer project delays aligning with victim disappearance clusters. Family vacation albums document perfect Europe trips every July-August 2007 to 2010, Gilgo Four timeline precision, while Heurrmann stayed home alone. Voice stress analysis of Amanda Barthelomy's taunting call recordings shows perpetrator confidence without anxiety, a predator reveling in total control. Suffolk County DA Ray Tierney calls the residence a forensic goldmine. FBI behavioral analysis confirms perfect match across 47 behavioral markers. This was the Little League coach. PDA dad, Manhattan architect who lived 10 miles from his dumping ground, watching search helicopters circle each morning from his driveway, reading his own headlines over breakfast, planning next summer's hunt while neighbors waved hello. Chapter 7, 2026 Trial Countdown, the DNA Revolution Tested. July 27, 2023. Rex Heurrmann sits shackled in Suffolk County Courthouse, his architect's hands that once drafted Manhattan blueprints, now twitching slightly as DA Ray Tierney announces 6 counts of first-degree murder. The Gilgo Four plus Jessica Taylor and Valerie Mack. The defendant used his family home as a torture chamber, Tierney declares to gasping reporters. He weaponized Craigslist anonymity, familial alibis, and cutting-edge disposal science against vulnerable women society forgot. Heurrmann stares blankly forward, his crew cut casting sharp shadows under fluorescent lights. His attorney Michael Brown rises. Every piece of DNA evidence comes from the family home. Wife, daughter, son, all lived there. Contamination proves nothing. The courtroom murmurs. Tierney smiles thinly. Touch DNA on phone cords used as bindings doesn't migrate from family bedrooms, counsel. Neither do belt buckle impressions matching Mr. Heurrmann's Leatherman tool pressed into Melissa Barthelomy's corpse. The DNA war begins. Heurrmann's team demands Fry hearings challenging whole genome sequencing admissibility, technology reading 3 billion base pairs from rootless victim hairs never tested in New York courts. Othram Laboratories experts testify. Traditional STR profiling fails on degraded samples. But massively parallel sequencing reconstructs complete nuclear profiles with 99.9999% certainty, distinguishing Heurrmann from 415 familial DNA relatives identified through public genealogy databases. October 2024. Justice Carl Dobler rules the science admissible in landmark decision. Whole genome sequencing meets Fry standards. Pizza crust nuclear DNA, burlap sack touch DNA, belt impression class characteristics, all enter trial. Heurrmann's face strains of color. The New York Times headlines scream, Gilgo Beach case ushers in post-mortem DNA era. Prosecution builds an airtight timeline. Burner phone activation dates precede each Craigslist reply by 48 hours. Chevy Avalanche cell pings trace identical loops. Massapequa Park, then Victim Motel, then Ocean Parkway disposal, and final stop. Home. Google search clusters spike weeks before murders. Caustic lye burns non-lethal dosage, aligns with Megan Waterman's chemical burns. Burlap sack saltwater weight capacity precedes Amber Costello disposal. Victim-specific horrors emerge. Maureen Brainerd Barnes. Hypothermia contributed to death. Heurrmann left her restrained overnight in 40 degrees Fahrenheit basement. Melissa Barthélemy. 24 taunting calls traced to Verizon payphones 3 blocks from Heurrmann's Bronx job site. Megan Waterman. Hogtie restraints match custom steel spreader bar from basement workbench. Defense counters desperately. All family members used the basement workbench. They subpoena Asa Ellerup's nail clippings, Victoria's pizza crust, Christopher's hairbrushes, claiming household contamination. Prosecutors reveal control swabs from Heurrmann's personal multi-tool sheath match victim belt impressions to 1 in 12 million. January 2026. 2 additional indictments unsealed. Sandra Costilla, the victim from 1993, via familial DNA linkage, Asian doe through whole genome reconstruction. DA Tierney hints at unidentified victims 12 to 15. Heurrmann now faces 8 first-degree murders. March 27, 2026. Jury selection begins. 400-person pool questioned over 20 years media saturation. Heurrmann's transformation shocks observers. Gaunt, hollow-eyed, his once confident architect's posture broken. Asa Ellerup attends daily, clutching family photos, whispering, "I still love you" during breaks. Victoria and Christopher refuse interviews, spotted leaving court with separate attorneys. Trial strategy leaks. Prosecution opens with pizza crust retrieval video. Officers gloved, sealing Victoria's lunch remains while Heurrmann obliviously crosses 51st Street. Defense counters with Asa Ellerup's tearful testimony. Rex coached Little League, attended PDA meetings, designed our dream home. This destroys us. The ultimate irony cuts deepest. Rex Heurrmann faces life without parole in a 9x12 concrete cell for architecturally designing Ocean Parkway body placement using his firm's own 3D modeling software, Tide Charts. Phragmites growth patterns, optimal concealment angles calculated with the same precision he once applied to Manhattan office towers. The man who planned glittering skyscrapers now confronts a cage planned by his own DNA, where every familial contamination argument crumbles against touch DNA, belt impressions, and 3 billion base pairs that cannot lie. What do you believe? Drop your verdict in the comments. Did Suffolk County PD ignore obvious leads for 13 years, incompetence or deliberate cover-up? Guilty beyond reasonable doubt, or does family contamination create legitimate uncertainty? Don't forget to join the club and have easy access to our explicit true crime archive. Subscribe now to never miss a case breakdown. Next Friday, Golden State Killer, 50 rapes, 13 murders, caught by 1 tissue sample in a genealogy database. You won't believe how they found him. Thanks for watching, and until next time. Take care.